Hey guys, today we're going to draw the Transamerica building in San Francisco. We won't be drawing all the other buildings around it, but just to give you an idea of an urban, densely populated area, this is what it kind of looks like with all the buildings. You can't really see the street view here, but it's very packed or compact and very populated and dense. And anyway, we're going to draw the main Transamerica building just because we don't have enough time to draw the entire view. And I'm not going to use a ruler. I'm just going to show you how to freehand this. So it's not going to be, exact, and yours doesn't have to be perfect either. So let's go ahead and get started. So paper, pencil. You can use just a regular number 2 pencil. I have 2 pencils. One is a 3H, which is a little bit lighter, and then an HB, which is kind of in the middle. But I'm going to start with the lighter one, and I may use the darker one later. So I have my paper at a vertical view, so up and down. And I'm going to start with the top point here. So this area here. Let me zoom in right there. So I have enough space for that. And then make sure when you're drawing that you have enough, see how long this building is, how tall it is. Make sure you have enough space to fit in all the way to the base. If you scroll and see the base here, right here, the base, these triangles, that you have enough space to get all that in there. So I'm going to turn my paper a little bit to the side, and I'm going to just basically make the top point first. So I'm going to start making a line coming out like that. So it's going to be kind of like a triangle, okay? And then in the middle, let me bring this a little bit closer. There, so let me do that again. So I'm kind of doing short strokes to kind of keep the line straight. You can use a ruler if you'd like to. And then a straight line at the top. Small line like that. And then the other side is going to taper out. Again, kind of like a pyramid shape. Okay. And then we're just going to make another line just like that. Now also, I made this a little bit too thick, but I want to make it 3-dimensional anyway. So right at the corner edge of the point, I'm going to make another line coming down for the side angle to make it a little bit 3D. And my line's a little bit too thick here, so let me erase that line here. I'm going to make this other line back behind it again. So there we go. So that's that top triangle part, okay, the building. Now the rest of the building basically follows the same type of design. It's slim at the top, and then it tapers out, meaning it gets wider as you go down, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put it to the side again. I'm going to follow this line, okay, and then I'm going to be, remember my building is getting a little bit wider as I go out. Okay, so I'm going to bring it down to about here. I have some space for the bottom base of the building. And then here, where this inner line is, okay, is where I'm going to start the next side, because this will be the side view. And there's some other two parts sticking out on each side, so we also have to put that part in there. So start where this inner line is here that you made, okay, and then again we're gonna taper it out. It's gonna get a little bit wider as we go down, okay. I'm doing short strokes just like that, so I don't have to use a ruler, because we're just trying to do a rough sketch of the building. Because if you start using a ruler, which you can, it might take a little bit longer to do. But even if you use a ruler, make sure your lines are not too dark. Now let's go ahead and close off the bottom, and I'll get to the details in the bottom in a minute. But first, I'm going to finish up the top half. So let me show you this picture again. So as you can see, there's two sides kind of sticking out. So I'll start with this side that's sticking out. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make this part sticking out, and then we're going to finish the side view. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that. But first we'll start with this side here. And you can see there's a little bit of angle also there. So I'll start with these angles and then the sides. Okay. So let's start with, there's a little angle, little slanted line just coming down like this. Don't go too far out, just very small. And then a straight line underneath it, okay? And it's going to be protruding a little bit beyond this line, but not too much, like that. And then this is just going to go down straight to the, straight into the side, okay? So again, short strokes, make it kind of come down the side, just like that. And on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make another slanted line, just like that, coming down, okay? And then another straight line, try to line it up with this side here. So let's bring this part down, okay? And then we'll bring this down, and this goes kind of far, a little bit far down, and it kind of stops around here. So we'll go ahead and we're going to make another 3D view of this one. So there'll be another, I'll show you that part in a minute. There'll be another line kind of on the side. So you can stop it right around there. Just leave it at that right now. And then make a little line slanted down a little bit, like that. Okay, and then we're going to follow the same line here. We're going to go parallel because it's the 3D view. And then I don't know how this ends. Let me see how this ends in there. You can just go ahead and just close it off. Make it a little bit round at the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and make another line here, and we're going to make the side view of the building here. So it's going to be the same shape. It's going to run the same shape. So start a little bit where you ended here on the side part, okay, right there, and then we're going to follow the same this line here. We're going to do go parallel, okay, to that. All right, and we're going to stop a little bit shorter than here because this is going to have an angle like this, okay, for the side to make it a 3D view. Okay, let's go ahead and do the bottom part of this now. So the bottom part has these small pillars here. So we'll make these pillars 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it has another bar, like a beam, and then it has these like pyramids, these pyramid shapes, or upside down V's. Okay, so we're going to start with making the beams, then this, and we'll also do on the side, and then we'll make all these pillars coming down, beams coming down. So starting the edge here, just make two lines with a little bit of space in between. So with, come about that thick. And then we need 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe take 1, 2, 3 spaces. Hopefully we can fit 5. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and make another line right here. Okay. And go ahead and just, I'm going to make a simple version of this. It's not exactly it doesn't exactly look like this, but I'm going to make it a little bit simpler for you guys. So this comes out to here. So we'll end it right there, right where this line is. And actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. And you can make another line just here to connect it like that. Okay, and then carry this beam, it's going to be parallel to this line here. So just carry this beam over on this side like that. Okay, and then again we'll follow this line on this side, close it off, and you can just put 1, 2 lines. 2 is enough right there. Okay, so we got the front and the side view, and now over here we have under each one is like an upside down view under each of these beams. Okay, so it's kind of connected to this beam. So if you think about it being connected, just follow this line here, and then we're going to make a line coming out, tapering out. Okay, and it's going to be thick. Okay, and don't make it too long. So I have it to about that long here, and we're going to go one space over. Okay, and we're going to do that on the other side, same thing. We're going to make another beam coming down, tapering out like an upside down V. Okay, so we're going to do that here, and it's okay if this touches it a little bit. It's fine. They are a little bit close together on the picture that I'm looking at. So basically I'm making upside down V's, and then we'll put a final beam at the bottom there to finish it off. Okay, and on this side you can only see one part of the beams here, just like so. Just make a straight line coming down like that, because you can't really see because this is kind of a side view, so you're just kind of seeing one side of the beam. Okay, so we'll go ahead and make a final beam like this at the bottom. So I'm going to try to make sure that my beams are all kind of equal in length here, so I'll kind of bring some of them down. Okay, so I'll make another line. Again, bring short strokes. Okay. To close this base of the building off, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this all the way down to make sure that everything is touching the bottom beam. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. And then we'll close it off. Okay, just like that. Now it has a bunch of windows in here on this building, so I'm going to try to find an easy way to do this. It gets wider and wider, so there's more and more windows, and they're kind of like rectangles, so I'll give you an idea of this. So what I'll do is probably just make rows first, like all across, and then we can make lines, little lines in between. Okay, so there's a little bit of space. Actually, before I do that, there's a little border here. So along the edge here, I'm going to make a border. So I'm just going to follow this same shape. Okay, straight line here. Same shape, I'm just going parallel with it, and it's just a little border. Okay, and there's something at the top. I can't really see in the picture, but I'm just going to put a little, like a little square. You can see that at the top. Okay, and there also seems to be some design here. I think there's some tile work, or maybe it's a window, but I see like a strip here, so I'm just going to make a line here. I think it has lines going kind of down. Just put as many as you can fit there. Don't worry about being exact. Also seems to be some lines here, so I'm just going to make a few lines kind of spaced out. You can see this, right? Okay. I'm going to try to put it like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay. I'll do the same thing here. Try to bring it across to make it line up. Okay. Now here, when I start the windows, I'm gonna leave a gap here because there's some space here. So I'm gonna come down, and then I'm gonna make. I'm not gonna go. Actually, what you do is just make a line going across, and bring it down about 1, 2. Okay. This is where the windows are gonna go. Okay. And then make a space for that. Make way 1 space in between, and then do it again. So we're going to do that all the way down. So 1, 2. We're going to do this all the way down the building. And then before I do that, let me just show you where these windows are going to go. So we're just going to make little lines in between for rectangle windows. So these are basically the windows, and if I'll shade those in so you can kind of see where the window should be. So a little bit of shade where the window should be. So can you see that? Okay, so, and as it goes down, the building gets wider, so there will be more and more windows. So don't worry if their number of windows is not the same, because it's going to be more, because there's going to be more space, right? So 1 down. So you see what I'm doing now, right? 1, 2. Again, 1 space in between. 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to bring this down 1. And then I'll draw some windows here, 1, 2, so you don't get mixed up on the lines. So again, there's a space, and then we're going to make just some lines between. Just make a little bit of make a window size, like rectangle shape. It doesn't have to be an exact shape. And then I'm going to shade in where the window is, just so I can see what I'm doing, how it's coming along. Okay, again, make 2 little beams in between, because these are where the windows are going to go. And I'll just go ahead and do this one too. Okay. There's more and more windows that are going to start coming. And again, I'm just going to shade in this, and I'll probably come back with it and make it a little bit darker after, but first I just want to get the shape in here. Again, 1 space from end to end, 1, 2. Okay, 1 space, 1, 2, 1 space, 1, 2. And again, that's 1 space here. Let's go ahead and start putting some windows in so we don't lose track of these lines, because it's easy to get confused on your space and then where the actual windows go. So I recommend just kind of adding some windows as you go, instead of going down and making all the lines first, because then you might forget, like, okay, which one was the space and which one is where the actual windows go, right? Where's the actual gap? What's the gap and where's the window? So that's why I'm kind of stopping in between and putting the windows in there before I go down further, just so I remember where the gap is, which is, this is the gap, and where's the windows, you know. I'm just scribbling quickly in here, but I'll make it a little bit better as I go back to it. 1, 1, 2. 1. And I'm going to check the bottom and see if it goes all the way to the bottom. Yeah, it does. 1, 2. So there's no gap. There's no real gap. These windows pretty much run. 1, 1, 2 to the bottom of the building. Okay, so I'll stop it there. I think that's good enough. There's a ton more rows in the actual real Transamerica building, but this is good enough to get an idea of the style of the building, because we're not going for an completely accurate picture here. We're just trying to do a rough sketch to get an idea of the building. And you can maybe add one more here, but I'll just leave it, actually. Just leave it there, because I don't want to make it too squished. Okay. Okay, and there's some lines here for side view, so you can just follow. I'm just following the shape of this, the thickness of this, and I'm going this way because this is the side view of the building, and you can just go ahead and just put maybe one line in the middle, and you can just shade that in. So these are just maybe like 2 windows that you can see from the side view, and I think that's most of what it looks like. Now also I notice in here it's a little bit dark, so I might just put a little bit of shading inside these pillars, and I'll come back and I'll probably darken it. Same thing here. Just gonna put a little bit of shading in here. And it's just a quick kind of a scribble inside there, but okay. You can zoom out here so you can see that. And I might take my darker pencil here and just kind of now that I have my sketch, I'm more comfortable making it a little bit darker, because that's a tip that I recommend that any artist does. Start light and then go dark. Okay, so I'm gonna make this darker here. So I'm just going over the lines that I already made and making it darker. But you get the gist of it here, what I'm doing. So you can go in and you can make it a little bit darker. Also on this picture, there's some shading, so you can add some shading. Like the sun is kind of coming from this side, and there's some buildings on the side of it, so there's a little bit of shadow on the edge here where the other buildings are. I don't know if there's any other shadows here. Let me see. And there's a little bit of shadow here. It's just a straight line shadow because it's a shadow from the side of the building, from this building, kind of the shadow against this area popping out. So it's a nice straight shadow here. This one also has like a straight line to it because it's another building giving us some shadow. Excuse me, some shadow against it. And let's see here. And the shadow kind of runs all the way down the side here. So you can add a little bit of shadow there. So anyway, you don't have to add shading, but I always like to put some sort of shading in there and then make this line a little bit darker here. And you can go over the, over the whole building if you want to, and make some darker lines. It gives it a little bit more depth if you do that. Okay. So let me just go and finish these windows. So I'm just darkening these here. And you can, I'll stop here, but you can continue on if you have time and darken the rest. So this is the SF Transamerica building. Let me zoom out here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, you can go in and you can just darken these lines and you can finish it if you have time. You can also Google the Transamerica building and make a more detailed one, but at least you have an idea of how to shape it out. And then once you have the shape down, you can add any number of level of detail that you would like. Okay, everybody, thank you.